Hey everyone, it's Delta. This is just a video response to my previous tutorial for the staircase security system setup. So one of the viewers of the actual video asked how to extend the signal further, and I said to him that I would actually give him a video demonstrating how, as it's slightly difficult to explain and muck around with yourself. So I thought I'd actually show him how, using alternate setups and whatnot. So the original tutorial was this staircase setup here. So by default, stairs are active. You can walk up the stairs and view your platform and view your next level. But with a little know-how of placing a lever, we can deactivate the system and actually go down to a secret chest area or a secret area in your base that you want to hide. So it's a security system that by default is active without the lever at all. So remove that is active. It uses a not complex, but a different and unusual way of powering them, using torches in a one wide block. That's why it's so thin. And I want to kind of go. I went originally for thinness and wanted to use that as a feature, but now it's getting to the point where we're gonna have to build it out ways a bit wider so we can actually pull the signal up. So what he had was an issue where the signal would stop here, and he didn't know how to pull it out and make it continue along in a much more easier way. So here's a video I'll show you how. So I've made some more demonstrations of much larger versions of it. So same thing over here. By default, stairs are active, and when you place the lever, turn it off, all the pistons deactivate, and then you may go down to your base. Now this works similarly, a bit different, using different principles. Again, so by default, without lever, the signal is active, so we can turn it off by placing a lever and switching it off. By default, signal is active, goes into the pistons, and I'm using repeaters here, whereas last time I didn't use repeaters. I said I could save resources. You can also save resources here. I just didn't want to make the design cluttered. You can add simple redstone into the back of each one, but as you notice, they don't turn on. The way you can turn it on is because they're not directly going into the piston itself, because the circuit is clipping or it's actually jumping across to the next track. So we can what we do is place a block on top and cut the signal. You'll need to update the blocks by either breaking a block or turning it off and on. But as you can see now, the pistons are now working without repeaters. You could do this. I just didn't do this for the tutorial because it was just too cluttered, and it gets in the way some parts. So reverting back. Whoops, that was that. So we'll show you how to build this one straight after I demonstrate what actually happens. So the signal goes up, goes into each repeater, powers the piston, and that continues all the way up. Now the signal will die at 16 blocks. So 16 blocks is 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, and it keeps on going out the top and actually dies just before this last piston. So what I had to do is actually I had to make an inbuilt repeater into the system. So what happens is that the signal comes up just before it dies off. It splits off into the normal one, splits off into this one here, then powers repeater, which then repeats it for another 16 blocks and continues forward. This one powers the block powers this one. It powers a block underneath the piston this time, and by powering underneath the piston, it can power both this piston and that piston at the same time. So once that's powered at the same time, it then goes up, top, and continues along. So this could be going continue. Just every now and then you need to place one of these loops. It's quite easy to do and quite simple. So we'll show you how to build one right now. So it's a similar setup to my last video. You can go check that out if you want. So first of all, we're going to place our pistons down, and so we'll place it like that. And then to the left of it, I'll place a sandstone block or whatever block you choose, and then continue to go like this. So to the left of each piston, sandstone block, piston on top, sandstone block, piston on top. So you go diagonal in both pistons and sandstone blocks, and you continue this until you get your desired height. I'm going to go past the length we went before, just so I can show you how to do the repeater again. and we're just keeping going. It's pretty simple and pretty easy to do this. I won't build the frame just because it takes time, and it's more for the functionality, not the looks of it, I guess, in this tutorial. And yeah, so like, if you guys have any questions in general about any of my tutorials like this user did, and want to know how to adapt it or how to change it to certain aspects or certain functions, just please send me a comment or PM me, and I'll be more than happy to actually work on some modifications for you. This, so that's far enough. We'll just add glowstone so we can see what we're doing because it's getting night time. And yeah, simple as that. I'll just build a mock little door setup or whatnot, just so we can get the switch on and working fine. That looks fine, I think. So first, each and every single one gets 2 blocks underneath like that, and we'll get to the repeater later on. So we'll just do that, and continue keeping going all the way up where you want it to go. Now for our lever, we'll place the lever over here, and directly on the other side we're going to place a torch. This will send a signal down, so signal like that, into the first one, and then continue this line all the way up. And you'll notice soon that when it stops smoking or stop particles start coming off it, which should be this one here, now that's not going to work, so no pistons will work off that like that. That's where we need to put a repeater just before here. And we'll do that soon. So now we can go power pistons by adding repeaters or adding the other setup that I told you. We can direct the single strand of redstone in, as long as you make sure it doesn't clip or go over the next edge and jump track. So as you can see, these top 2 pistons don't work. So now, as we did in the last one, we're going to replicate it. So the way we do this is, on the one we want to jump across, I think it's like that. We can remove this this repeater here, because this repeater will go here, and like as you can see over there, and that doesn't go there. So once that happens, we now need to pull this track out as we did over here. We want to go 1 high again, so we want to go up 1 and into like that, and then the end of the just bear in mind, so we have signal coming up through here, powers into this block here, which then goes up, and then behind that piston we power as normal. So I'll demonstrate it again. So signal gets cut into 2, so it goes into the piston over there, comes into this one over here. This powers this block over here. This block then splits it into 2 as well. The repeater then goes into this block here, which powers this piston and this piston over here. And then this other signal comes up, goes around, and into the other one. It's important that this signal does not wrap back into the to the L setup. So the new signal, the repeater signal, does not wrap back like this. When it does, it's powering itself. The repeater powers it itself, and it'll be a constant loop. You can turn it off, and it will still work because it's in the loop. Some of them will turn off, but most of them won't. So making sure that the repeater is the only wiring that goes through both the new and old setup, as this does. So no power can come back through the system, which is mostly important thing. It can only go forwards, if you understand that. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So that'll go on as long as you want. That'll keep on going until you have your desired amount. It's still pretty compact. It still fits within the 4 wide of the switch. It does use much more resources than the other one did, though, thing. And in general, I don't know, I prefer the other one, but this is much more easy if you're longer setups and whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful. Um, this is mostly common knowledge. I'm not going to claim anything like that for myself. It's just an adaptation of my previous tutorial on how to do a secret staircase layer based thing. So yeah, so anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next proper tutorial. And yeah, catch you later. Delta out.